Well, hello everybody. This first clip of this particular video is probably being taken at least a week before the rest of them. We're due to have some heavy rain, and I promised I would show everybody that rosebush. So Angel and I are going to take you out and show you the rosebush. It's probably at its peak now because the rain will, well, won't destroy it, but it'll damage a lot of the blossoms. So we'll have a little look at it right now. Here, Angel. Usually she's out ahead of me. There we go. I was just telling somebody this morning I couldn't decide what it was that she kept reminding me of when she was out walking ahead of me. And then I realized, if you watch Downton Abbey, it reminds me of the opening scene of the Lord of the Manor with his yellow lab out in front of him. So I've got the Downton Abbey dog. Container gardens are looking pretty good. Might as well show you those on the way, I guess. I just harvested my first zucchini. I picked 8 baby zucchini, like 4 to 6 inches long. That's the stage that I like them at. Some of the potatoes are starting to bloom. I'm not really certain which ones those are, but it doesn't really matter, I guess. Those are having some white blossoms anyway. There are buds on some of the other ones. And this is the winter squash patch, which is starting to send out its runners. Could be interesting getting around here a week or two from now when they've all started to run 25 or 30 feet each. Here we are at the rosebush that I want to show you. I've been noticing several of them in people's gardens over in Maine as well as here, so it's becoming more and more popular. When I was cleaning out weeding out the perennial fruit and vegetable bed, which is behind it, I found 2 small rose bushes growing, and I'm thinking it's seed from here. The birds just love the thousands of little red hips that form on this bush, and that's how it spreads. You find it growing up trees where birds have roosted for the night. I'll give you a walk around and show you it from all sides. It has a fragrance. I can smell it when I'm up close, but it's not overpowering. I have roses that are much more fragrant. But I love the thing, especially when I look at it and consider I grew that from a seed. Started many years ago, but nevertheless it grew from a seed. This side doesn't have as many blossoms. It doesn't get as much sun over in the perennial bed here now. We had some rain last night, but for the next couple of days we're supposed to have heavy rain, as much as 30 millimeters, I guess. And here some of the branches seem to have cascaded down and left an open space in the middle, but I see new growth coming up in there, so I'm sure before the end of the year it will fill that in. Well, stay tuned for the rest of the video. I don't know what it will be at this point, but I wanted to make sure that I made good to my promise and showed this bush when it was in bloom. Well, as you can see, I've got my sidekick with me here. She's always with me. A lovely dog. That's Angel. You've seen in some of my other videos. I'm just about to put the rest of this video together, I guess, this morning. Starting here in some of the container areas. These are the Cara potatoes, and they're the only ones that are in bloom in the 5 container pots. I have the 70-liter pots. There are more in bloom out in the ground in the large bed where I've planted potatoes, and as part of this video I'm going to dig the first new potatoes, probably the Linzer Delicatesse. This is the variety of zucchini that I'm growing called Elegance. I grew it last year, and I didn't know the fancy term last year that things can be parthenocarpic, that they don't need male blossoms. All the female blossoms produce fruit anyway. And I thought this plant was doing that last year, and now I know that it is. I've planted it next to the summer squash variety, Cavilli, I think it's pronounced, that is parthenocarpic. And just for comparison, I was going to see if there was any difference in the number of fruit that we were getting. Well, this, I've already cut several off of this, and the ones that are in the hoop house, and I have yet to see a male blossom. So if you're interested in a variety that doesn't require male blossoms, go for the Elegance variety in zucchini or the Cavilli in summer squash. I'll show you the summer squash one right now. This is the summer squash one, the Cavilli. I'll put the list down below once again in case I'm not pronouncing that anywhere near the way it should be pronounced. But this is, it's got one on it, and it's had its blossom, it's fallen off, and it's starting to grow. The one in the hoopos has more. Nevertheless, I would be harvesting probably half a dozen or more of them a day, because that's the size that I like them at. I like the small baby ones the best before they, although these should not fill full of seeds, I guess. If it doesn't have anything to cross-pollinate with, it shouldn't produce seeds, just a little zygote that would become a seed if it were pollinated. You know, I see a larger one over in the background. Get you over to see that or not. Maybe not. See that one there? That must have developed at least yesterday or the day before, but as I say, they will be picked because I don't like them any larger than that. And this is my winter squash patch, which is starting to send out runners everywhere. I still have not seen a blossom yet, but there are lots of blossom buds down in there, so I'm sure in the next week or so that will happen. And you can see the sunflowers growing a little taller up there in the center. There is one that's starting to show yellow today. They are supposed to be a dwarf variety, anywhere from 2 to 4 feet. And I would say the ones that are highest there is just about what they've gone to is 4 feet. And they appear to be varieties that are going to have multiple blossoms on each plant, which would be nice. I hope the lens hasn't steamed up. My glasses have. We've just come in the hoopos. Very humid in here, even with the fan going. These are the yard-long beans or asparagus beans, and they're just starting to climb. Remember the story from earlier on, I lost, I don't know how many. I probably planted 40 seeds. I got 8 plants out of it. But the way they're developing, maybe 8 plants is enough, I guess. There's no signs of any blossoms yet. And as I said, they're just starting to climb. And that's one of the Oka Mellon plants. Also, it's just starting to climb up the chicken wire trellis there. I lost 2 or 3 of those as well, but I have 3 that have survived. If they all grow and produce melons, that'll probably be enough anyway, I guess. Well, this is for you, Kevin. Kevin Bradley in Ontario provided me with seeds for, I think, 3 of the varieties of peppers that I'm growing. I have this one labeled as lipstick, and these are the earlier ones. I'm going to cut those off today before they spoil, but these are the earlier ones that pollinated in the house before I brought the plants out, so they're nice and ripe. But they're small and they're round, and then if these are showing up here, I'll get one out beyond the red one there so we can get a look at it. These are the second ones that are coming on. They're not starting to ripen yet, but they're long and sort of conical shaped, completely different shape. So you can let me know, Kevin, if I've got them mislabeled or not, but I have 3 plants here that are labeled as lipstick, and that's what they're looking like. And that's my beet patch, which is doing very well. I've harvested a few small ones. I don't like to take too many of the small ones. I like to get them to grow up to full size, but there's 3 varieties of beets, and I have a modular flat outside here on a grow bench to add more to the place here where I haven't planted any in that dirt patch there. So I will soon put in the succession crop, I guess. Getting lots of green tomatoes, and this is the parthenocarpic variety. Some of the things that I read online were skeptical about it actually producing without having cross-pollination, but I'm getting excellent fruit set, which I normally don't get. I think almost every blossom that comes out is setting a small tomato, and they're not through growing yet, so I'm not quite sure what the size will be. But that's definitely, if I like the flavor, that's definitely a variety that I will grow in the future. And this is the Asian long, slender, purple-colored eggplant, and today I have the very first blossom. I have 4 of these growing here in this area. Hopefully that means there will be eggplant soon. My last attempt at eggplant was a few years ago. It was the more conventional shaped eggplant, the one you see in supermarkets most often, and it bloomed a lot, and I didn't get a single thing out of it, so fingers crossed for better luck here, I guess. I got the pea plants pulled out yesterday, and this is the Perpetual Chard. According to the person who recommended it to me, it's supposed to be more like spinach when it's ready to pick. So far it sort of does look like little spinach leaves, but it'll be a while before it's ready to harvest. And if you can see in the background here, this is the rainbow chard, and I've had several pickings off of it already. It's very good. Excuse the jiggle, 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 as you've no doubt noticed. I'm doing a lot of this by hand holding the GoPro here. These are the blue potted peas. Haven't reached the top of the trellis yet, but I'm sure they will. They always go to the top and down over, actually, but they're starting to bloom. Some of the blooms have already faded, so we'll be having some blue pods on there pretty soon. At last, for the first time I've noticed, we're stand the chance of getting a hit of broccoli. The two larger broccoli plants here have both got broccoli started on them. This is a Savoy type cabbage, and it is just starting to hit up down in the center. Next to it is the red one, and I see some worm damage. I have more dipel on order, but I've run out of dipel. It's supposed to arrive by Friday, I guess. So hopefully we'll have dipel to sprinkle around here to treat the worms soon. And this I'm anxious to see. Finally, the Romanesco type cauliflower has started to form a head. You can see that down in there, how interesting that is. They say they're smaller heads than ordinary cauliflower, so anyway, that's extremely small. It's only 1.5 inches or so across, but at least I'm going to see one, and I want to show you what I think is happening, well, I know is happening to the rest of them here. This area is behind fencing. It's about 4 foot high, just to keep rabbits out. And I don't see any break anywhere or anywhere where rabbits have dug under, so I don't think the damage is a rabbit, but a lot of my brassicas in here are vanishing. That was a good-sized cauliflower, the Romanesco cauliflower plant. There's another one over there that's gone. There's one behind where I'm filming here that's had half its leaves removed, but not having great luck this year, I guess, with any of the brassicas. I'm not quite sure what's in here and eating them, but I find more leaves cut off of things every night, every morning when I come out. So what it is, I don't know, or how to get rid of it, I'm not sure. Those are the butter beans. They're doing really well. It's said that they don't need any support, and I've taken them at their word. So far they're fairly sturdy and standing up. When I do some watering in here, they get flopped around. But hopefully they will get a little stiffer and make it up so that I get some butter beans to try. I've never grown butter beans before. The plants are looking nice anyway. Well, here at the larger potato patch, there are 3 of the varieties, I guess, are in bloom, except for the ones that I'm going to dig. This is Pacific Russet that's got a few blossoms. And back there the white flowers are on Nicola. And these pretty sort of mauve colored flowers are on Rocco, which is a red skin potato and a good storage potato for winter, it says. They will definitely be later. But in front here, what I plan to do is to pull at least one of the Linzer Delicatesse, and they aren't blooming, and I don't see any blossom buds coming, so maybe they don't bloom. Now let's get down and see what's under anyway, under the sawdust here. Well, as you know, I have been doing this in a no-dig method this year. The potatoes were just laid on the soil, and then they've been covered with wood shavings. I know there's at least some potatoes down here because I did some pilfering around and got a couple last week. So, Linzer Delicatesse is a fingerling. I will show you everything that I get once I get them all out of here, I guess. But most of the vines, potato vines, if that's what you call it, have fallen over. We had some heavy wind and rain, knocked them over, but they're still looking quite healthy. I think that's basically one plant. Let's go down and see what I find. I don't know if I should be digging down into the soil, or if I would just find these, oh, there's a nice one, just find these laying on the surface, or what to expect. never having done this before, but there's one there, but I'm quite convinced I took that off the plant behind it. That's cheating. Well, I think that's it for the one plant. I have to add 2 to it because I took 2 away from it a few days ago. One thing about this, they come out of the ground remarkably clean, of course, because they haven't been growing really down in the soil. That is the little harvest here, and oh no, as I've been afeared, that one has some mold damage on it. I think that might be what's attacking my brassicas as well. Seems to be an awful lot of moles around this year. That's the only one there that seems to have any damage, but I will be having Linzer delicatesse with dinner this evening. Well, that concludes this little video, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry for all the bouncing around here.